Thank you so much, Mike, for joining
Hi,
me.
Mel. How you
I
doing?
can't believe it's been so long since we've seen each other.
Yeah, it's been, I don't know, a year, well before COVID.
Well, yeah, well before
No
COVID.
COVID
I think
excuses.
it's been well before I was even at Celebrity.
Yes,
Not
no,
by each other
it was right before you went to Celebrity.
right before.
It was right around the time you were making the decision to head over to Celebrity.
Oh, that's
Because
right.
I remember you being at the store telling me about it.
That's right. So you and I met because you were one of my clients.
Yeah,
And it's
right.
so funny how for full circle, so many of the clients that I had have remained friendly with.
Yeah, of
And it's
course.
just so nice to kind of reconnect with everybody. Just
Well,
see
you're
where everyone is.
hiding at Celebrity Motors in New Jersey.
Hiding in New Jersey. So you have such a fascinating story. So you're the VP for the Leader in Cars Auto Group.
Yeah.
You're based in Long Island. You have a Hyundai and a Mazda point. And at one point, you guys had multiple Hyundai and Mazda points as well as a
Correct.
Genesis point.
Uh-huh. And we still have the Genesis point.
Oh, you still have the Genesis point.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know before you were in the car business, you were working in a completely different industry, completely different role. I would love to hear your career story and how you came from where you were before into the car business.
So started my career in the world of politics. I worked and ran political campaigns. That's what I did. I started young at the state legislature level, and then worked for a member of Congress, like at a very low low level position, entry position in the campaign, and then left that to go back to the legislature to run statewide races. Then worked for mayor in Fairfield, Connecticut. I worked for him as his chief it was a director of special projects position. So it was fun.
Okay.
I got to be involved in everything in town government, state government. And then finally I ended up working for a member of Congress. I was the youngest Republican campaign manager in the country in 2002. And I always say I got to do everything I wanted to do in politics except fly on Air Force One. But it was fun. It was a great career. And someone I knew through politics who was involved in dealerships and owned dealerships came to me and said, "Hey, why don't you come check this out? Check out the car business, come see it." And I was like, "Man," and he was always telling me to leave politics and come do it. And he was right. It's the same thing. You're selling people or you're selling cars. I mean, there's nothing, the difference is in the language. That's all it is. It's the same thing. The concepts are the same. We'd call it marketing and advertising. They call it, campaign paraphernalia, you know. It's the same thing. We're just changing the words. Okay.
Yeah.
So he finally convinced me. It became a natural transition, but I was in for a little bit of a rude awakening, because when I arrived my first day, I washed cars and I prepped cars and I got cars ready, because I was told that no one in this business is going to respect me unless I start from the bottom and come on up and experience what everyone does. So I started washing and detailing cars, and then I was a rep in the BDC, and then on the sales floor, and then ran the BDC, and that's when you and I met.
Right.
And then I ended up running the marketing and advertising for the group, and then ended up becoming the vice president, a little accidentally, but it's how things turn out.
That's amazing. So talk to me a little bit about some of the things that you do in your day-to-day as vice president of the group.
So you end up with two different roles. You almost have two different roles, right? You have one role where you have an owner who you have direct contact with. That's your direct report, right? Mm-hmm. Like any manager that you speak to every day, well, my manager is the owner. And owners work and operate on different levels, and that consumes a lot. It can consume a lot of your time depending on your role. My role, it consumes a lot of my time, and that's okay. That we get things done that way, and we get to work on a bigger picture on a higher level. But then what's the day-to-day? The day-to-day is what's happening at the store. How many customers have come through service? How many have come through the sales floor? What are we closing at? Where how much money are we putting on the books today? How many hours, how many wrenches were turned? How many hours were wrenches turned? All of those questions, what parts, how we do on wholesale, all those questions and answers, and then into the minutia of it all. Even deeper, okay, where's our advertising budget? Where are we spending? Where are we working? What are we doing? It's all aspects in every piece of it. And it's interesting because of the way I got thrust into it all. I ended up kind of having to learn on the job.
Right. I am very familiar with that.
And a lot of slashes in your titles. I mean, it's a nice
Right.
vice president, a big deal. It doesn't mean anything. It means nothing. It means, what did you do today? And what did I do today involved a million jobs that at any other big corp. My wife works for Pfizer. She looks at me someday, she goes, we have like 50 people that do what, you or anyone else in your company does on any day. I'm like, yeah, that's the world we live in as dealers. Right. We have slashes in our titles. We do whatever it takes to get the car out the door and the customer happy.
Exactly. So if someone was in the business and whether they were a sales manager or they were a service manager or they were a marketing manager, someone who was looking to get more into the operational side of the business, what would you suggest for them? What steps would they take to kind of get more exposure from an owner to be promoted to a role like vice president of a group?
Listen, you have to be the person who's there, who's raising their hands. Who's going to stay late tonight? Who can come in on Saturday? Who could give that extra all? Who wants to learn? Hey, when I was a salesperson and I would see the biller doing things, I would ask questions. Why do you do it that way? Why is it in this state like that and not here? I would try to ask to be involved in every meeting that I could, or if someone needed help somewhere, I would just go and help, and I'd figure out what they were doing by just helping. I think being there, being available, and being willing to work hard and put in the hours pays off. I believe that. I still believe that if you work hard and you put in the time and you put in the effort, it will pay dividends one day.
Definitely.
And there's too many people who have proven that time and time again. Outside of the car business, inside of the car business, but really the car business. I mean, what a great profession we have, right? I mean, you don't need a college education. You don't need an education in the building trades or anything like that. You can, the car business, the restaurant business, you can just walk in off the street and start as a salesman person today. And who knows what you can become. And there's very few industries, there's very few businesses left in America that are like that. And that's pretty cool.
Definitely. How has COVID been affecting you guys since this all happened in March?
I don't know. We're all selling cars like crazy, and who knows when the inventory is going to finally dry up. That's becoming the big question, right? Okay, COVID's affected us. It's affected every single person. We feel it we used to feel it far worse than the rest of the country is feeling it. Right. It's become part of our lives. And we've all, just like you and I were talking a little bit before the call before we started chatting here, each family has to make their own decision. And I think in the Northeast, we've kind of figured that out. And we've learned how to mostly respect each other. And I think the rest of the country is kind of learning that right now. And they're going through what we went through. So coming out the other end of it, it's very interesting. I think the business has changed. Actually, let me rewind for a second. We thought if we had this conversation 2 months ago, we would be like, the whole industry's changing. No one ever is coming to a showroom again. Right. The world is over, right?
Right.
And now it's like, I don't know, we all wear masks. There's plastic up between us, and everyone's very respectful, but we're still doing what we normally do.
Right.
And people are buying cars and they're paying for cars.
Right. What are your thoughts on inventory? When do you see from your stores in terms of when things are going to get a little bit better with supply?
I don't know. I mean, I think Hyundai's in a better position than some manufacturers just because Korea has handled this a lot better. Um, and Hyundai owns everything. They own the boats, they own the trains, they move the cars. But I think inventory is going to be a problem for a little while, especially the way the market is. People are buying cars.
Right.
It's not, it's like, oh, well, maybe we shouldn't sell so many cars because we're not going to have any later on. But it's like, just sell them. I mean,
Right.
that's what's happening, and we'll deal with that problem later because we're car people, and we don't even know when the next holiday is. We just got to sell cars this month.
Yeah, that's very true. So you guys have some exciting stuff going on with the Empire Auto Group.
Yeah, we
Tell
started
me
a
what's happening
partnership
there.
with them with our Hyundai and Mazda store. So it's pretty cool. It's really exciting. I mean, to work with a Michael Brown, a Jason Montalvo, these guys are the top in the game, the top in New York. I mean, they are where to be. So it is really exciting for all of us. It's pretty cool.
That is very cool. And what
Yeah.
brands do they have?
Oh my God, I think they have 10 different. Now they're up to 10 or 11 different brands. 11 different brands.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they don't have a repeat of anything right now.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really
Everybody
wild.
pretty much in the Northeast knows who the Empire Auto Group is.
Yeah, yeah, especially New York and Long. And it's kind of fun. For them, it's their first venture kind of across the sound here because New Rochelle Hyundai is their first store off of the island.
Very exciting.
Yeah, that's cool.
Awesome. So if somebody wanted to get a hold of you to talk more about anything with relating to the business and your day-to-day, what would be the best method to do so?
Oh, you can email me. It's mrenaud@licauto.com. Text me, 917-279-6684. That's my cell phone. Text me. I'll text you back. We'll find a time to call. Yeah, whatever anyone wants, advice, help. This is an amazing, amazing industry that we work in, and very few give anyone the opportunity to go from washing cars to running auto groups. And there are countless success stories like that in this business. I mean, countless, so go out there, take advantage of it. It doesn't matter. You could be swinging a wrench in service, or, dialing numbers in the BDC, or, sitting with Melanie and coming up with these creative, amazing, social media ideas. It doesn't matter. You can go anywhere and do anything in this business.
Definitely. I love it. Love the positivity.
Yeah. Thanks, Mel.
Well, we always have fun talking, so.
We do, and it's always positive and fun, and it's great.
Always laughing. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And
thank you. This is awesome.
Let's talk again soon.
Okay, and continued success, Mel.
Thanks. You too.
You're doing awesome. Thanks.
Thanks.